and this team, coming into playoffs and the elimination series for today, definitely a great time to take that chance and change up the roster if needed, or take the chance to kind of pick the heroes that are not meta, but you still somehow make it work.
Hey, you know what? I did some digging, found some info about Whoopi. So he's always ran with the name Whoopi, all right? But the thing was, he was underage for a lot of these other tournaments. He wasn't allowed to play. So he's been grinding for quite some time. He's just pretty young. I think he's 17, if I'm not wrong. So, well, coming in, this is some new blood injected into the AMER scene for North America, and for him being so young, I think sky is the limit, and the ceiling is definitely grown a lot more. So hopefully he gets a lot more game time, a lot more that he can add on to his portfolio. You know what I mean, Private?
It's funny to me that you mentioned that he hasn't been on the scene for a long time. I take a look down and I take a look at his picture. He's the only one that hasn't been grizzled down by the esports scene in this little frown, that big ear-to-ear smile that he has. He's just ready, willing, and able, ready to be out there. I always get on this when it comes to like esports picture. I'm like, is there a problem with smiling? I want to see this new generation of players out there, ear-to-ear smiles, all whites on them. We're not UFC. We're not taking prize fights out there. Let's just show a smile out there and then get the job done. Going on to the draft of what we see here, still respect paid to the Kufra pickup, but it seems like the Kufra being taken off there is just stalled out Lyon. Not just the Kufra pick, but I feel like Leviatán had just had some great answers back to back that Lyon have just been completely unprepared for.
Yeah, talking about that, I'm just happy to be here. Smile on Whoopi. Yeah. So I'm just interested, what kind of heroes that he's gonna be picking for this stage. I think also they're just gonna have fun, right, at this point. So very interested on what other kind of combination we can come up with.
I don't know, man. When Private mentioned smiles, I was looking at ISO and it's like, yo, his smile is just dead on the inside, if you ask me at this point for him, right? So, but then again, like looking at what it's there on the side of Lyon, they get themselves a Freya. So I think Leviatán oozing with confidence and they don't care. And instantly as the Freya was picked up, look at the reply, the Phoveus. It's a straight counter to the Freya. And Leviatán get the Valentina to prevent any sort of shenanigans on the other side. You can't go for the Sora. You can't go. Whatever you go for is going to be for me too. So Leviatán already looks super strong right off the bat in the draft.
Yeah, and that just, you hit a nail on the head. This is confidence speaking out of them. They said they're going to give up the Freya, and the draft allowed them to go ahead and pick up Valentina, who counters the Freya, and you take away Valentina's biggest counter or biggest threat out there, which is the Phoveus. It's going to be interesting. I've been saying before, I want to see how Lyon does with a good draft, and I feel like this is not a bad draft for them. The problem is their confidence kind of shot to the moment to where Leviatán have just been such a well-oiled machine from beginning to end. I don't think I remember too many opportunities in the last two games where I felt like Lyon had a leg up, or it's like, oh, they're actually turning this around. I feel like the pressure that has mounted from Leviatán, they haven't made a lot of mistakes. They have become very fast, very furious with a lot of the damage and the invades that they do, and there's been very little room in any of the objectives or any of these engagements for Lyon to be able to get that advantage. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how they can how they do against this comp.
I'm just gonna say something about the Cho pick right there. That is Promise main hero. So right now they're all, I am gonna show you my debut hero right now. So
what a debut as well, right? For Promise as well as Whoopi. If they're able to get a 3-0 stomp in what's an elimination round for Leviatán after losing a series to Lyon in the Swiss stages, Yeah, I think this is now all of a sudden we don't count Leviathan out, and all the standings and the predictions and all the talk about who's gonna be moving on into the next stage is kind of gone off the window. And next thing you know, we'll be talking about Alpha 7 who. I mean, we're not that far yet, but I think Leviathan looking super strong at the moment. And with the second phase of the bans as well, Hylos being taken off, Leomord's off the table, you're really looking to choke down the hero pool of Bernoulli, because they've got an early goal lane side with the Freya. You've got late game kind of locked down with this Alice. You got consistent damage throughout the board with this Kimi. You're looking to expand on the early game pressure that can keep up with this Cho in terms of rotation. I'm looking down at Khalid because they already picked up the Hilda. Glue is gone. Kufra is not present, so Raquel's not going to get his comfort pick. I don't really want to see the Minotaur come out from Raquel because you're giving away more early game pressure, and Valentina on the other hand can pick up the Minnow and Fury. So I'm only looking at the Khalid right now if you are Leon to be picked up in the roam position, but Leon banning another jungler. Okay, Baxia's gone, so Leviathan Assassin again, Suyo's gone, Fanny, Joy's still good.
I'm seeing
Joy.
here. Sorry, Woompi's three other heroes, or two other heroes are Ling and Lancelot, so we don't know if we're gonna see that. But
no.
so his favorite heroes, right?
Not
Three,
Ling. Forget
Fanny,
about Ling.
Ling and Lancelot. Ling is not showing up in this meta, no.
A Ling, I feel like, what is it? Broken Walls pretty much killed Ling standing.
Yeah.
There's like.
Got nowhere to stand.
Here we've got Expanding River. Beatrix going to be making showing out here for Leviathan. It's going to be very interesting. I don't know where you go if you're going to go for a jungle on the side of Lyon here. You've got a pretty tanky front line in the name of the Freya. You got Alice who can come in from the back line or even try to get into your back line as well. The only problem is Kimmy and Freya are going to both have problems when it comes to Phoveus in the early bit of this game as well. And Valentina, I was trying to think when Valentina takes the ultimate from Freya, she doesn't. I don't think she gets the auto attacks and the she doesn't really get any of the other abilities, so it feels kind of useless for her to be able to take that. Ooh. Looks like they're going to answer back, try to answer back with something that we saw earlier from Leviathan.
I like it. Alright, if you're gonna really don't hold back and pick all the heroes that you need to try to make this elimination stage. Joy.
They're confident, man. They are confident. They don't care about the
Joy
Kaja.
going into the Kaja, right? Okay.
They don't care about it. This is Leviathan. If the Leviathan get this game, like, we can talk about, you know, a little better seeding for Leviathan in this playoffs. Last words, Layla?
Great. We're gonna locked in. We have, Leon really trying with this game to make it so that they have a chance to continue for the playoffs. A lot of the heroes that we do think are very meta in the moment are out, so we'll see what they can do with this lineup.
I mean, for me, it looks super solid in terms of what the matchups are, but of course Leon looking to get that early snowball in the hands of Fred as well as Bernoulli for Suyo, but Leviathan can always make the comeback, right, Private?
Yeah, and looking for the comeback here after weeks of, I'll say it, disappointing matches here. Coming back very strong and looking for a full 3-game sweep over Lyon in Game 3 of our second series of the night of the AMER North playoffs.
Yep, in we go, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see Woompy already getting the clear as fast as possible against Bernoulli, who's supposed to be one of the fastest jungles in terms of the with the Suyo in hand. But I think in this case, again, Leviathan looking to push Leon off the edge with the early game that they have. They're able to get that EXP crab in the hands of Hayase. And you can see already Pav taken out super low. This is where Yato's at his best, right? His comfort pick, Valentina.
Yeah, I have a confession to get out there. I had Leviathan getting swept in my poker, my bingo cards. It was their performance, how they've shaped up in this playoffs. What we've seen here today is a completely different beast than we've seen throughout the entirety of the Swiss stage. I went on a little rant off screen about how a lot of North American teams or North teams, they juggle around their roster, and it really puts a hankering on a lot of the teams that you care about, that you want to do well, because they have to build that synergy over again. But the other edge of that sword is magical things like this, where a team like Leviathan has just found that it factor that they needed. Yato gets latched onto there by Bernoulli and is going to be able to find himself and escape toward his tower. Doesn't even use his flicker yet.
Yeah, and you're not wrong, Private. So did I, so did Trex, and so did Layla. We all had a kind of 3-0 for Leon, but then again, with the way that they've been playing, it's so much more promising. But Leon, this time taking charge of the early game, something they weren't able to do for 2 games in a row. So I'd say it's working out well, forcing a flicker out of promise as well. So now you're really, you've got the... You've got an anchor tied down onto Leviathan for them not to progress so much in the early game. It all comes down to how Wumpy can pop off, probably in the EXP side of things, or maybe... Oh, no, ISO.
Yeah, I saw the flicker with the Divine Judgment. ISO in a trouble as Leonhardt finds and picks up the first kill of the game. And maybe Leviathan a little confident in that draft, allowing some of these picks out there. But I do know that they understand where these power spikes are. You can already see there from the Leviathan side. They're able to clear out a lot of the jungle coming up from Lyon. Promise finds a little bit of a pop-up there, takes some damage from Bernoulli. Wumpy dashes in, does not quite find the damage he wanted onto the back line as you see the electrifying beats come out to try to clear out that mid lane. Actually, Wumpy, Evil Queller lands onto Promise as the rest of Lyon. It doesn't look like they really want this a fight just yet. Yato over there going ahead providing that protection for his team.
Yeah, I think at this point, Yato has to find the find the opening for Leviathan on this Valentina. Probably take the Divine Judgment. He does have the flicker, so they have 2 possible engage tools, but they need to play it around ISO or Wumpy because the damage is not going to be present otherwise. They've been able to get fast clears. River control right now in the hands of Leon. They've got about 500, 600 goal lead. That doesn't really matter at this point, and expanding River should allow Bethlehem to make it back into these fights, into these neutral objective fights, just equally as fast as Hayase on this Alice. So you can see already the IMU taking away the Divine Judgment. The item power spikes are almost there. I think ISO is looking to go for a BOD early first item. Was planning to go on the Malefic Gun, but changing the route and getting that longsword. So at this point, Leviathan looking for a play.
Yeah, they immediately latch onto Raquel there as well. Going to take him down very quickly, but now have to deal with Hayase on the back end. A big flicker comes out there as Leonhardt able to find a kill onto Bethlehem. On the backside, Wumpy able to find a kill onto POV. Bernoulli picks up the turtle, but on the back end, Promise might be in trouble against Leonhardt, who cannot close the distance.
Yeah, 1-1 traded, if I'm not wrong, in that fight. But at the same time, Leon getting the turtle is not looking good for Leviathan. You can see a lot of damage coming out from Bethlehem in these fights. But if you're a Phoveus, you want to be in these extended fights, right? That's where the Phoveus kind of excels. And so does the Valentina a certain way. So does the Beatrix. But on the top side, I think they're looking to get down on Leonhardt.
Yeah, they're going to be able to find that kill very quickly. And I kind of had the same thing in mind too. Bethlehem hasn't been a huge factor in a lot of these fights, and I feel like he was going to fall off when you start getting to that mid game. And we want to find a point where he's going to be useful. Ooh, Demonic Force does slam down, but Raquel able to create some distance between him and Leviathan. 2-3 right now, a small lead in favor of Leviathan.
And you can see on the bot side, though, Bernoulli needs to get a push going. No turtle, no neutral objective, but no minion waves to respond to either. So even Leviathan playing the macro game, almost to near perfection at this point. They just need to get a couple of towers maybe, and I think it has been on the top side. They need to keep this Freya at bay, who already has 2 kills in her pocket, and once the Freya starts popping off, it's going to get difficult for Leviathan to make any sort of comeback, and that's why you can see Bethlehem not really making a lot of oh no, never mind. Top side, Divine Judgment could come in.
Yeah, they were looking for it. 4 players actually go up there and they just don't find the target. I feel like Leviathan did such a great job reading the map, understanding what they see and what they don't see, and responding correctly. They didn't see the rest of Lyon. They're like, okay, let's just assume they're going to start coming for us. So they immediately backed up there. Oh, Promise dipping in and out, really dancing around. Divine Judgment, IMU coming out from Leviathan. Won't be able to find a kill onto Raquel as well. Leonhardt's going to have to use that flicker to get out of harm's way. Gets bounced back by Bethlehem. Is that going to be enough as Wolfie finds a kill onto Leonhardt? 2 down for the side of Lyon.
Won't, won't, won't. That's what it was this time for Lyon. Won't be able to pick up a double, and they get 1 more in the hands of ISO as well. So that's 3 kills if I'm not wrong. And Leviathan doing a fantastic job, able to get the 3rd turtle of the game just when they needed to up the tempo. And now all of a sudden, whatever Lyon has done in the early few minutes, the first 6 minutes has kind of been rendered useless because Leviathan were able to maintain that goal lead. And now look at the way of the dragon.
Oh, another ultimate comes out there. Raquel's gonna have to try to find himself the safety of the tower. Promise comes out with a flicker of his own. Might be a little bit too much for him as he finds himself an escape with that Jeet Kune Do and that Cho. What a great engagement there from Leviathan, even when you thought Lyon had the catch.
Yeah, I think Lyon kind of could have got that kill, right? Promise kind of lucky to get away with it. They get the tier 1 on the top side. They respond with another tier 1 on the bot side. So towers in the favor of Lyon, 1 gone on their side, 2 for the side of Leviathan. Bethlehem able to get that War Axe right now, so you know he's going to start hitting harder in these team fights. He's going to sustain a little bit longer. Promise, another way of the dragon.
Yeah, Raquel taking a heap of damage. Gonna have to use that flicker, but still not enough as Bethlehem comes in from the backside. Ooh, POV in trouble. Electrifying beats coming out from Wolfie. Might not be able to make an escape. Evil Queller with some damage from Bernoulli, able to finish the job in reply as well. You can see the big pressure mounting at the mid lane, but Lyon able to clear out the minions.
Whoopi is fantastic on these assassins, bring a little bit of flavor to MCT North, if you ask me. And Leviathan just doing a fantastic job so far. Lyon able to get that shutdown onto Whoopi in the hands of Bernoulli. Now they need to find a way to scale, and Bernoulli needs to get more kills on the board. Otherwise, it's looking dire because Leviathan have nice late game power spike with that Beatrix, a marksman in the late game. Pav, on the other hand, hasn't had the best game so far. 0-2-3, and ISO just getting that malefic gun. Well, it's looking dicey. Pav gets the Bloodwing, so I'd say 50-50, but still, in terms of damage, Leviathan have a lot more to offer than Lyon. Bernoulli needs to find a way to pop off, otherwise it's going to get difficult for Lyon to do anything. And you can see they're already blitzing away this Lord, able to get this one in their hands, so buying some more time for themselves as Leviathan look to get a pick-off after pick-off.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lyon, we need to be able to kind of make some plays here. I feel like we've been very, very passive in the early game where we were supposed to have the advantage. Promise on the back end, putting some damage onto Bernoulli, getting stunned, might be in a little bit of trouble, is still able to find that escape. There was this little point at the beginning where Lyon had the advantage, but they weren't pressing it. They weren't looking for engagement. They were free to just let the Leviathan kind of pass them by. Now they might have a little bit of that opportunity out again as they go ahead and try to put some pressure onto this mid tower. In comes the demonic forces as well. Big pop-ups landing out of the Bethlehem, able to find a kill onto Raquel. Evil Queller coming out from Bernoulli, dashes in, looking for the soul sever, but the damage coming out from Bethlehem is more than enough to take him down. A big reply by Leonhardt gets answered by Bethlehem again, putting us into a 10-4 lead for Leviathan.
And this is why they let the Freya go, right? Knowing that they could pick up the Phoveus, which is basically a straight counter to the Freya. And the problem with for Freya against the Phoveus is when the Freya wants to pop off with a power spike, that's when the Phoveus hits his power spike too. And when he got that War Axe, you know for a fact Leviathan were looking to pick more fights around Bethlehem, who was able to sustain a lot more in these team fights. And he was taking a less than a quarter HP and was still able to make it out alive. Dreadnought armor to be able to tank quite a lot. Warrior boots even, along with the silence rope. So basically a force to be dealt with at this point.
Yeah, you can see right now we do already have the Holy Crystal picked up there by Woompy, so putting on the damage. But we do see already Radiant Armors being picked up by Lyon to try to offset the damage coming out from Woompy. Respect being paid there for the new jungler from Leviathan. 4-10 still, as both of these. I feel like this isn't it. It feels like, oh, I was going to say, we do have a Divine Judgment goes on to Hayase. Big pop-up lands onto him, but there is no aggro coming out from the tower. So just a wasted ability comes out from the side of Leviathan. This is definitely not out of the woods for Leviathan just yet. There's no huge gold lead here, just under, not even under a K, like 500 gold difference, despite the huge disparity when it comes to the kills.
I mean, yeah, there's a massive disparity when it comes to the kills, but at the same time, Lyon have been playing the macro game really well. They've got two towers on the top side, a tier 1 in the mid lane, a tier 1 on the bot side as well, and the tier 2 on the bot side's like barely hanging by a thread. And they definitely got the first lord doing a lot of work, and now the second lord seems like it's gonna be in their favor too. Yato getting that Divine Judgment earlier not only burned an ultimate but also a flicker, which basically didn't lead to anything fruitful. So if you are Lyon, this is the moment where you need to take down the Lord. The Freya's on the top side, so it might not be the best position, but you could get it started and find a way for Leonhardt to make it into the pit and then maximize what they can put out. Leviathan, having slowed down the pace of the game from game 1 and game 2, is helping Lyon a lot, and this is the kind of pace that Lyon like to play at. And you can see it's already gone past 12 minutes 45 seconds, 13 minutes, even longer than both the first and the second game went about, right? So I think getting the clear on top as well as bot side now from Leonhardt, and then they're going to convert this into a Lord after adding that lane pressure. Raquel scouting out these bushes, looking for the right pull, and getting them poked down is going to be crucial for Bernoulli to find that finish.
Oh, you can see Bethlehem kind of getting baited out with some of those demonic forces. Oh, Promise goes in, even with the flicker, just misses the pop-up. Now he gets a Divine Judgment for his effort. Does have the immortality out there as well. Still going to be able to get away from the enemy team there. Big kick lands onto Raquel, putting on the damage with that dragon kick, but it's not enough. Whoopi on the back line, able to find a kick onto Bernoulli. Leviathan chasing down the rest of Lyon, who, underneath the tower. Divine Judgment comes out onto Hayase as ISO picks apart that mid lane tower.
Oh, he had Renner on his hands. If it was Nibiru, that could have been a kill with the help of the Divine Judgment as well. He tried to get the Renner snipe on him, just not able to find it. They get the Lord for the side of Lyon. They're trying to blitz it as fast as possible, but Lyon making sure they're able to escort this Lord and maximize the macro ability on the map. They get the tier 2 on the bot side. I don't think it's going to be good for this Freya. Has to use the Valkyrie Descent to get out of harm's way as well. Tier 2 in the mid lane is going to be the next target for Lyon, while the Lord is still going to be marching down the top side slowly. So waiting for another set of minion waves that's going to come out in the next 10 seconds. So more super minion waves, the better for Lyon. Meanwhile, Leviathan needs to find a way to capitalize, needs to find a way to turn things around, and Whoopi's doing a lot on the map.
Yeah, this is just a classic game of why kills are not as important as a macro. Lyon doing a great job of kind of making sure even when they're losing fights on one side of the map, they're winning towers on the opposite side of the map, all the way down to almost the high ground towers at the mid lane as well. Leviathan kind of scrambling a little bit, starting to lose a little momentum as we're moving into the 15-minute mark already, the longest game of of this series for Leviathan, but they're on the back foot, and I feel like this is a pretty firm advantage on the side of Lyon because there's not really too many entry points for the side of Leviathan to try to get in there, and they've just got I want to say an uncanny ability right now when it comes to really kind of syncing up these lanes, making sure that they're pushed before a lot of these objectives go out.
And you would think that Lyon have the advantage, right? But look at the goal lead. It's 50-50. And that's one good thing for Leviathan, just because of the fact that they have a Beatrix, a Marskin that can pop up.
Ooh, big engagement comes in under electrifying beats onto the backside, trying to put on the damage. Woofy takes a heap of damage coming out from the side of Lyon, but now being chased down by Leviathan, trying to focus down onto a target. They are not able to bring anybody down, and ooh, Bernoulli goes in against 5 members. What was that?
Bernoulli, what are you thinking, man? This is not the Bernoulli that we know from Lyon. But right now, Leviathan, this is not a Leviathan we've known throughout the entire MCT record, the Swiss stage. This is a rejuvenated team. Again, this is like the 3rd time I've said it. Call me a broken record, but they've been so fantastic so far in the entire series. And if this is going to be a 3-0, it's a massive statement coming in from Leviathan. And you know that this is a team that can take it all. This is a team that can get the big wins. And with this newly added jungler breathing in life to this lineup, allowing the rest of the team to play like they'd want to. Yato looks like a different player right now. ISO is allowed to play that a game he wants. Promise coming to the own position. We're looking at a Cho 1-0 and 10. And how many times did he get pulled by the Divine Judgment? It's something we've not seen. The immortalities are keeping him alive. Right now, he doesn't even have it. He's able to find the right pickoff. The communication is on point for Leviathan. Meanwhile, Lyon are looking like a shadow of their former selves, where Bernoulli's not able to get the victories, not able to get the kills that he wants to, and Raquel, without having the Kufra, is not able to find the right pace for the rest of the team. The shot calls have not been on point. They have had this Freya that could do a lot of work in the game. It's just not worked out, and I think Leviathan at this point, with the help of this Lord, will be looking to push this game to a possible end like they have done for game 1 and game 2. We're 17 minutes 45 seconds in, and they want to pull the trigger, and all flickers are available.
Yeah, right now, my draw was just stuck to the ground there, trying to figure out what Bernoulli was trying to do there. That enabled, they knew they had a retribution down. Leviathan immediately turned to go ahead and pick up the Lord. Now they've already matched up all of the towers out here as well. They do have to answer back, as the Leonhard is doing a great job of creating that pressure up at the top. But when you talk about, I mean, Leviathan was on the back foot too. They were disengaging from the team because they didn't want that fight. And Bernoulli went in. Maybe his boys rizzed him up so much he just got a head full of steam. He's like, "All right, boys," and against 5 members, which is super unfortunate for him, which allowed this for them. Now you're looking at about a 2K gold lead for the side of Leviathan. This kills are now starting to mean more and more, as you see about a 2K gold lead for Woomfy on this joy pick.
Yeah, and you can see what was an even gold standpoint for both these teams now all of a sudden is in the hands of Leviathan. Divine Judgment coming through.
Yeah, I promise, but he does have that immortality out as well. Finds himself a kick. Immortality has been procced for the side of Lyon, and down goes POV. Next is Hayase on the chopping block. 3 down for the side of Lyon as Leviathan looking to close up this game. Bernoulli, or Raquel, not Bernoulli, sorry. Raquel does take a little bit of damage, still has the immortality, but the rest of Leviathan have to answer this Freya. Leonhard at the bottom lane, chopping away at this tower, now getting chased down. You can see that Yato and a Promise trying to chase him down. Leonhard gets hit with a Way of the Dragon kick there. Yato trying to rain on some more damage. Ooh, Promise actually has to get away. This is the strength you have of the Leonhard. But, ladies and gentlemen, with a clean sweep, Leviathan advance in the playoffs.
Somebody get the broom, because Leviathan just swept the Lyon in a dominating fashion. Yes, the 3rd game went a little bit back and forth, but never did they lose control of the entire game.
They had control. I have to give it to Leon for really giving it their best in this last game. Unfortunately, they just couldn't outplay Leviathan, and they will be eliminated today. Unfortunate, but great to see Leviathan. It's a kind of new kind of team that we haven't seen this whole tournament, so really excited to see what else they can bring to the table for the rest of the playoffs.
I think you guys kind of touched on it a little bit. I feel like this is kind of a statement, and this is going to change around a lot of people's predictions for how these playoffs might go, especially with this brand new Leviathan who has just steamrolled through the competition. I mean, there's synergy there, great picks. They're very patient when it came to that game too, waiting for just the right mistake to come out of Lyon, playing passively. You saw a lot of engagements they didn't like. They backed up. They took some deaths. And they just needed that one mistake from Bernoulli to be able to turn this immediately around and find their advantage.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I think that's what made the difference in that advantage that Lyon had, was the Bernoulli jumping into a whole team. Oh.
Well, I mean, they tried, right? It wasn't the best performance from Lyon, but then again, they didn't really have a lot of opportunities because Leviathan just controlling the chaos in this game number 3, and also looking at game number 2's replay, they played really well, where Yato was the one that kind of really popped off on this gourd, and Wumpy, a new name in North America right now, impressing on debut. Promise, yes, he debuted, but we've seen him play at the highest stages and he's played super well. But Wumpy here, not just in game number 2, not just in game number 1, in game number 3 as well, on this Joy, able to lock down the right target and making sure he gets them a lot of pressure right from the early game. And you could see making his entry at the right time, finding the right target, just doing everything right. This was the only time you gave a kill onto Bernoulli, but after that, they just weren't able to capitalize. Bernoulli went down 4 times after that fight, and picking a 1v5 in that purple buff area, I mean, we're not really sure what he was thinking. Like Private said, probably got, you know, got a lot of, what do you call it, adrenaline going in his favor, hyped up by his teammates, and all of a sudden he just sees the gray screen, which was never the right idea for Lyon. But Leviathan just able, even though they lost a lot of towers in the early game, not giving away a lot of gold. That's the moment, right? That's the moment. They didn't give away a lot of the they didn't give away a lot of kills. They didn't give away a lot of gold, and were able to hold their own. And once the opportunity presented itself, hey, they never let it go. And after that, it was just a one-way push down the mid lane, even though Leonhardt tried to get the split in the end.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, an amazing game there. Promise, man, where has he been on these rosters? Because I want to say today he has played his heart out for the side of Leviathan. All 3 of these games, he's just been absolutely exceptional. I'm not sure if he will be getting the MVP, but I think we're about to find out.
Let's have a look. MVP goes to Promise. All right, he did a lot for the team there. Break it down for us, Chrono.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot for the team, and not just that, right? On a Cho against the Kaja, didn't get picked off a single time when he ate about 4 to 5 divine judgments. Yeah, and even the itemization, I love the itemization about how he went for the Chastis Pauldron in the early game, because you're kind of negating what the Freya can do with the attack speed, and then getting yourself that anti-cuirass, the immortality, just getting the right knockups of the Jeet Kundo and latching onto the right targets with the Way of the Dragon, the Flicker Way of the Dragon, into the Bennett's Rage, into a Divine Judgment pull from Yato, just making sure everything is clean and being the initiator for every single fight. Promise, showing a lot of promise for Leviathan in this playoffs run.
Yeah, and he's one of those players I've talked about before. He's always been one of those that you could depend on in some of your most important matches. Even I think he's even been on BTK for some of the final matches as well. He's just one of those just great players that I wonder. I stutter to wonder why he just has not been like on like the starting rosters for many teams. Maybe it's schedule or something like that. But when he does come, he shows